11a, 11b, sorry. About 5 lines after the Gemara, also about 6, 7 lines from the bottom. So, Rabbi Oshia understood Ben Beseira in our Mishnah that really a Paschal offering is valid if it's slaughtered in the morning, to which he then said that if you have the wrong intentions in the morning, so it's not going to, so it is going to invalidate it. That's all Rabbi Elazar's understood in the name of Oshia's understanding of Ben Beseira. Yeah. So now says the Gemara, but how can it be proper to slaughter the Paschal offering in the morning on the 14th? It clearly states in the Torah, the Haksiv Bein Harabayim, literally will be Bein Harabayim is basically between when it starts to get dark until nighttime. Between that and that, not the twilight period, but towards the evening. Usually Bein Harabayim means in the afternoon, after what we call mincha, we call mincha katana, until that last hour and a half of the day before Shkia. So how do you understand that? So he says, Amar Ula, Braid Rav Eli, Bein Shnei Arba'im. What it means is it's between the 2 evenings, between yesterday evening and tonight. So really, it's fit to be brought at any point between the 2 evenings. So says the Gemara, now we're going to go through a bunch of other places where it says Bein Ha'arbayim, and it refers to not between 2 evenings, but it refers to just the evening time, not between 2 evenings. So the Talmud, the daily sacrifice, the Sivbei Bein Ha'arbayim, it says there Bein Ha'arbayim, and excuse me, Hachanami Dekula Yom HaKasher. So Bein Ha'arbayim by the daily offering is for sure brought only right when we daven mincha, only in that latter part of the day. It's only in the latter part of the day. You don't bring the mincha, the daily offering. You don't bring the afternoon daily offering in the morning. So what do you see? That when it says Bein Ha'arbayim, it means not between the 2 evenings, and therefore you have a full day. Rather, it's between just the small time frame you have when it gets towards nighttime. So the difference is that if you look at the daily offering, it says that you have an offering already brought in the morning. Right? We have 2 daily offerings, the Talmud in the morning and the Talmud in the afternoon. So since it already specified by the Talmud in the morning that it's brought in the morning, good morning, Jules. So then obviously you know that when it talks about the other Talmud, it's referring to towards the evening time. So even though it says Bein Ha'arbayim, but because if you look in the context, look at the big picture, you see that the other daily offering is specified in the morning. So obviously this daily offering is going to be in the later afternoon. And even though it says Bein Ha'arbayim, but it does not mean the entire day. Michlal the Bein Ha'arbayim mamash. That Bein Ha'arbayim means Bein Ha'arbayim mamash, which means literally between that between the nighttime, meaning when it starts to get later in the evening. That's where you bring the Talmud Bein Ha'arbayim. Says the Gemara, why? Maybe really Bein Ha'arbayim could mean the entire day, and you'll say like this. The Torah specified 1 daily offering to be brought in the morning, you have 1 offering that's brought only in the morning, the daily offering, and the other offering is brought the entire day. Because maybe read the words Bein Ha'arbayim really means between the 2 evenings, and therefore you're going to have 1 daily offering brought no matter what in the morning, because it says Baboker, and you can't interpret it any other way. And the other daily offering, it says Bein Ha'arbayim, which we're interpreting now to mean between the 2 evenings. Maybe say that's the understanding. So the Gemara says no. Echad baboker v'lo shnayim baboker. No, as a keves ha'echad pasul baboker. Only 1 daily offering can be brought in the morning. You can't have 2 in the morning. And therefore, when it says Bein Ha'arbayim, It doesn't between the evenings. It doesn't mean between the evenings. Right? It doesn't mean between the evenings. Rather, it means between that later in the afternoon time. And therefore, Bein Ha'arbayim will be interpreted differently over here than the way it's interpreted by us. Jules, we're 4 lines from the bottom. The word Neros, candle. Yeah, got it. Candles. Candle, good. Go ahead. So Neros, by lighting the menorah in the temples as a Bein Ha'arbayim, which usually means towards the evening time, but maybe you'll interpret it now to mean that really you have the entire day to light the candles of the menorah. So according to you, Ben Beseira, understand, according to really Rabbi Oshia's understanding of Ben Beseira, the reason why you can bring the Pesach offering even in the morning, because it says Bein Ha'arbayim, between the evenings. Between the evenings means you have the entire day. So maybe here too, maybe the whole day, you have the whole day to light the menorah, the base of Mikdash. And that's not true. You only have towards the evening time. So why? Why only do you have a small time frame to light the menorah? Shiny Hasam Diksiv, Mi Erev Ad Boker. It has to be lit. The menorah has to be lit Mi Erev Ad Boker, from the evening time all the way until the morning. So when are you lighting it? Right before the nighttime. You're lighting intense that it goes Mi Erev Ad Boker. The Tanya and the Brisa says, Erev Ad Boker, Tena Midasa, should take the Lekah, Erev Ad Boker. You should have enough oil, put enough oil in it that it'll last from the Erev Ad Boker, from the nighttime until the morning time. So the menorah is lit right before nighttime with enough oil that it lasts until the morning. So basically, what are we saying? That even though we're interpreting the words Bein Ha'arbayim when it comes to Pesach as between 2 evenings, meaning the entire day, when it comes to other examples that it says Bein Ha'arbayim, you have to look at the bigger context. And the context will tell you how to interpret those words, Bein Ha'arbayim. Davar Acher, another interpretation, Ein lecha avoda kshera mi'erev va'ad boker ela zu bilvad. Another by the candles, it says that there's no other avodah, no other service in the temple that's kosher from the nighttime until the morning time, except for this. Everything else can't be done at nighttime, accepting the blood, throwing the blood, kmitza, ketores, all those things. They all are done before this. This is the last one. Yeah. The only one that's going to be done from nighttime until morning time is going to be the lighting of the candles. Just another place you see that the candles have to be lit from nighttime until the morning. Okay, so another example where it says the words Bein Ha'arbayim, and the name of the game is, what does Bein Ha'arbayim mean? Does it mean between 2 evenings, which is therefore you have 24 hours, or Bein Ha'arbayim means between the evenings, which just means when the day starts getting a little bit darker before nighttime. So Ketores by Yom Kippur is coming, so the Ketores is a vital part of that service. So Ketores Diksiv Bein Ha'arbayim. It says by the Ketores Bein Ha'arbayim that you have to bring it also Bein Ha'arbayim. So what does that mean? According to you, Rabbi Oshia's understanding of Ben Beseira, it should mean Tikula Yom HaKasher, that you have the entire day to bring the Ketores. And we know that's not true. You only have that small time frame towards the nighttime to bring the Ketores. Ketores is the frankincense. In the Nusach Svarchels, like Kesser Israel, so at the end of davening, we say on a daily basis, Pitum HaKetores. I think 11 different ingredients. Smell it miles and miles away when they would light it. You were shining the base of Mikdash. I think it says you could smell it all the way in Yericho, and the women didn't have to put on perfume because of the beautiful smell of the Ketores. So, and when it came to coronavirus, so Kabbalistically, many big rabbis said that you should start saying Pitum Torahs every day. Here they say it every day, but others, so because there's a special power that prayer has, because the Torah itself had a power to stop plagues and things like that. So yeah, okay. So shiny Keturas, the Keturas is different. Go on to the next page. The iskish leneros, because the Keturas, the frankincense, is compared to the neros, to the candles, and just like the candles are only lit towards the evening time, not in the morning, so to the Keturas is only lit, is only brought, towards the evening time and not in the morning or the afternoon, early afternoon. So Hasanami Ksiv, it says by the it says Sham Tizbach as a Pesach the Erev Kivo Hashemish. So it says over there by the Pesach offering that you should bring it the Erev. So you, Reb Oshia, told me in the name of Ben Beseira that by the Pesach offering it says Bein Harbaim, and therefore you learn that even the morning of the 14th is valid to bring the Pesach offering. But look, it says in Sefer Dvarim, it says that you should bring it when be'erev, in the evening time, not in the morning time. So says the Gemara, Hahu li'uchar davrahu the asa. When it says here, bring it at evening time, it means you should delay it, meaning not delay, you should push it off to be brought after the Talmud. So even though, according to Rabbi Oshia, in the name of Ben Beseira, the Pesach offering is valid to be brought in the morning of the 14th, when it comes to the afternoon, and now you have two things to bring, the Talmud offering, and then the Pesach offering, you should delay the Pesach to be brought after the Talmud, even though its time is actually earlier. According to this, you can bring the Pesach offering 8 a.m. Erev Pesach. The afternoon Talmud can only be brought, let's just call it up, starting from 6 p.m. So now 6 p.m. hits. So what do? So you would have thought you brought the Pesach offering. It's been already the time to bring it for hours. But the answer is no. You push it off until after the Talmud offering. The Tanya, as the Brisa says, the davar shaloi namar bo ella bein arbaim. It says you should push off the matter that says erev and bein harbaim to the matter that it only says bein harbaim, meaning the Pesach offering has two things. It says that it should be brought bein harbaim, which we now understand to mean between the two evenings, and it says it should be brought in the evening. What does that mean? Which one is it? So the answer is you can bring it in the morning, but if you don't bring it in the morning, and now it's the afternoon, and now you have to bring the daily offering, so that bring the daily offering first and the Pesach offering after, because by the daily offering it only says bein harbayim, which by the daily offering those words do not mean between the two evenings, and therefore you have the whole day. It just means to bring it in the evening time, towards the evening time. So since it says by the Pesach between the two evenings, and it says you should bring it in the evening, so therefore if they come in conflict with each other, or if they come at the same time, if now it's 6 p.m. and you have two offerings to bring first the Talmud and then the Pesach. Yeah. Now on that, the Gemara says, do we ever have such a thing that it's valid in the morning, but when it comes to the afternoon, you have to push it off? Usually things that are valid, I don't know, let's say, yeah, I don't know, that's valid from the morning. So if you don't do it in the morning, the first second you have to do it, go and do it. You'll be like, well, actually now I have to. No, do it. Afternoon, okay, no, don't do that. Do it now. Exactly. Do it now. So do you really have such a thing that is valid in the morning, but it gets pushed off? So such a thing that in the morning it's the right time to do it, but in the afternoon as they push it off, we don't usually push things off. So here's for the brachos learners. What happens if you have mincha and musaf? No, you left during musaf, you had to go take care of something, and it's been a few hours now, and now it's 3-4 p.m. on Shabbos. Now you have two things to do now. You have the mincha and you have musaf. So what should you do? So practically, I have to look it up. But right now, from what the Gemara says, halacha mispalel shel mincha, the achar kach mispalel shel musafin. Do the mincha first and then the musaf. So that's an example of the musaf you could have done earlier in the day. But now when you come in conflict with the mincha, do the mincha first. Why? Because the rule is tadir v'she'ena. Tadir kodem. If you have two things that you have to do right now, you do the one that's more frequent. Mincha is much more frequent than musaf because you say mincha every day and you don't do musaf every day. So therefore, you do have such an example where you have something musaf, which was fitting earlier to say, and now in the afternoon we push it off. Yeah, I believe usually the rule of tadir, the more frequent one, is when you have two and you have to say one right now. But if you actually have time for both, so then it could be it's different. But
in the davening, it's all the same. It's all what comes first. What comes most people first.
Yeah. So, okay. So this, yeah. Okay, fine. So that's that. Now we basically just took Ben Beseira with an explanation of Rabbi Oshia that it says by Pesach Bein Harabayim which he understood to mean between the two evenings. Erev is evening like Aravit, and Bein Harabayim is between the two evenings. Therefore, Ben Beseira can bring the Pesach offering during the morning or any point in the day on the 14th. Then we had a bunch of other examples that it says this is the words Bein Harabayim. And we said it does not mean between the two evenings. It means in the evening time, like the Ketores, the frankincense, the menorah, the daily offering. So now the Gemara is going to ask if those things could be done in the morning. Sorry, if they could, let's see. Ubein Arbayim dechsiv gabe Ketores v'neiros lomoli. If anyways, there's other reasons why you have to do the frankincense and you have to light the menorah, there's other reasons why it has to be done in the evening time. So why did the Torah say Bein Harabayim? Anyways, you're not learning from the words Bein Harabayim that it has to be done in the evening time. Because according to you, Bein Harabayim, between the two evenings, it could sometimes mean you have a whole day to do it. But by these cases, we know from other places, other rules, that it has to be done in the evening time, towards the evening time, the later part of the day. It cannot be done the whole day. So if that's true, why did the Torah refer to it as Bein Ha'arbayim? That's one question he has on Rabbi Oshia's interpretation of Ben Beseira. That's one. The Ode, Heishiv Rebbe, Tachas Ben Beseira, Ladibre Rabbi Yeshua. We have Rebbe answering for Ben Beseira to Rabbi Yeshua. From his answer, it'll show you if he agrees or disagrees with Rabbi Oshia's understanding of Ben Beseira. He says as follows. So, Lo im amris b'shlosha sar she'ein miktsas ra'oi. So he says to him on the 13th where it's not fitting, and yet you say it's fine. Tomar ba'arbasar she'miktsas ra'oi. So the way he responds is, right, in the mission we had a debate. If the morning of Pesach you had the wrong intentions for the Paschal offering, is that like the 13th and it's valid? Or is that like the 14th in the afternoon and it's invalid, right? That was a debate in our mission between Rabbi Yeshua and Ben Beseira. So Rebbe responds for Ben Beseira. I don't understand. On the 13th, if it's slaughtered for the wrong intentions, it's going to be good. Yeah, on the 13th, which is the wrong time to bring it, you say it's going to be good. On the 14th, which shemiktaso roi, part of the 14th, it's fitting to bring it. It should for sure be good. Now, one second. Yeah, sorry. He responds to them by saying the 13th day it's not fitting at all. Okay, fine. But on the 14th, though, at least part of the day is fitting to bring the Pesach offering. So if you slaughter it for the wrong intention on the 14th in the morning, part of the 14th is fitting to bring the Pesach offering. So already now from the morning, if you have the wrong intentions, it should invalidate it. Now, hold on. He just told me that only part of the 14th is fitting to bring the Pesach offering. and he's speaking for Ben Beseira. So clearly Rebbe holds that according to Ben Beseira, only part of the 14th is fitting to bring the Pesach offering. Which part? The later part of the day, towards the evening. So we see that the way Rebbe understood Ben Beseira is that the morning is not fitting. He's just saying, but it's so close to the 14th in the afternoon that even if you have the wrong intention now in the morning, it should invalidate the offering the same way it would if you would have the wrong intention when you bring the Pesach offering, when it is the right time. But clearly Rebbe holds that only part of the 14th is the right time to bring the Pesach offering. Then Isa, and if it's true that Ben Beseira really held, like you, Rav Oshia, understood that you can bring the Paschal offering the entire day, so then Kulo Ra'uihu, the whole day is fitting to bring the Pesach offering. Why did Rebbe, defending Ben Beseira, only say that part of the day is fitting? According to you, Rav Oshia's understanding of Ben Beseira, the entire 14th day is fitting. So clearly we see not like Rav Oshia. Okay, so at the end of the day, our Mishnah said that if you have everyone agrees if you have the wrong intention when you're slaughtering the Pesach offering in its time, so the latter half of the 14th, if you have the wrong intentions, everyone agrees it's going to be invalid. The question was, if you have the wrong intentions, the 14th in the morning, is that going to invalidate it? Rabbi Yeshua said it's like doing it on the 13th. It's still a valid Shlomim offering. It's not a Pesach offering, but it's a Shlomim offering. And then Beseira said, if you have the wrong intention on the 14th in the morning, it's going to be invalid. The question was why? One understanding was because Ben Beseira held actually the 14th in the morning is actually the valid time to bring the Pesach offering. Therefore, if you have the wrong intentions, it's going to be totally invalid. And the other opinion said, no, really the 14th in the afternoon is the right time to bring the Pesach offering. But the 14th in the morning is you're already in the same day. Since you're already in the same day, it's so close to the Pesach offering, even at that point, the wrong intention is going to invalidate it. Those are the two understandings of Ben Beseira. Okay. So, Ella Amar Rabbi Yochanan. So, Ella Amar Rabbi Yochanan. We need now a new understanding for Ben Beseira. Posel Haya Ben Beseira Pesach, Sheshachtu Barbas or Shakris, Bein Lishmo, Bein Shalo Lishmo. Says Rabbi Yochanan in the name of Ben Beseira, the reason why on the 14th in the morning he invalidated, if you have the wrong intention, you slaughter the Pesach offering, and you have in mind a different sacrifice. That's a chatos or an ola or a tamid or whatever, a peace offering. So at the end of the day, why is that going to be invalid? So it says Rabbi Yochanan, whether you slaughtered it in the morning for the right intention, for a Pesach offering, or for the wrong intentions, for a different offering, it's going to be invalid. Why? Since part of the day, coming up soon, in 5-6 hours, it's going to be the right time for the Pesach offering. So even now, you're restricted by those rules. Because it's so close, it's right there. So therefore, if you have the wrong intentions, or you slaughter it at the wrong time, it's the morning, so it's too close to the right time, that it's going to invalidate it. Yeah. So it's like, like, I don't know, like you have certain electronics, right? So when they're off and you press the button, nothing happens. It doesn't do anything. But when it's on and you press the wrong button, it could break it, right? So the question is, when is it Pesach time for this offering? If you're on and then you do something wrong, then you ruined it. If it's the 13th, not the 14th, it's not okay. You did something wrong. It's still going to be a valid peace offering. But once you hit the 14th, then you're already in Pesach land. Once you're in Pesach land, you have to do things. Everything has to be properly done. So, La La Land, exactly. And so you spend your Erev Pesach. That's it. So, yeah. So on that Rabbi Yochanan, so that we say Megadef Ba Rabbi Bo. Megadef is usually like a very harsh language, a very harsh expression towards Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Bo did not like this. Im Kain Pesach Kosher Leben Beseira Heichim Meshachasta. So now we're going to get into the topic called the nitcha, that when you do certain things, it can invalidate the sacrifice. So, for example, if you're mafresh, if you designate a sacrifice at the wrong time, so that might push it off forever. You have to designate it in the right time. So we're asking now, according to this, when is going to be the right time to designate a Pesach offering? Either after Sheha Idno, if you do it now in the morning, the 14th. So you just told me I can't slaughter it then. I can't bring it then. So therefore, my designation is invalid because I designated at a time that I can't bring it. So that's rejected, meaning that'll make the offering rejected. Dichui, it's going to be pushed away, rejected. And if you want to tell me that on the 13th I could designate my Pesach offering, that's called Mira Venidcha. The 13th, it's fitting to be slaughtered as a peace offering. The 14th, though, no longer fit to be brought as a shlamim or as a Pesach offering. Once you hit 14th in the morning, you can't bring it as a shlamim. You can't bring it as a Pesach. So that's called Nira Venidcha. The 13th, it was available to be brought, but then the 14th came and was pushed away. So when can I designate my Pesach offering? So only a very small time frame. Everything else you're doing, Erev Pesach, after Chatzot, you also have to now designate your offering as a Pesach offering. Yeah, add it to the list. So Abaye Amar says Abaye, not necessarily. Why? Abaye Amar, Afilu Tema Mitzafro, even if you designate it from the morning, Ein Mechusar Zman Lebobaya. Says Abaye, there's no Mechusar Zman Lebobaya, meaning we don't view the morning of as it's so close to the right time of the Pesach. We don't view that as Mechusar Zman, as you're lacking time. Meaning even that time is going to be valid for designating your Paschal offering. Yeah, that's not called the wrong time. The morning of is not called the wrong time, even though I can't sacrifice it now. But it's still not called the wrong time. So you could always understand something in two ways. Why can't I bring something in the morning? If it's the wrong time? Or no, it's Pesach time. 14th is already Pesach time. There's a special requirement to bring it in the afternoon. Not that it's the wrong time, right? That's you can take any mitzvah, right? You have Lulav and Esrog. I can't do it at the night before, only in the morning. So nighttime is the wrong time. There's a special requirement. You always think about it in two ways. What will be the difference? I don't know. You have to know. But Rav Papa Omar, no. Afilu tema miorta, even the night before. So the night of the 14th, I mean the Bedikas Chametz night. Even that night, you could also designate your offering. Why? Because Laila Ein Mechusar Zman. The nighttime is not considered a time which is lacking time. It's not the wrong time. There's reasons why you can't bring it at nighttime, but it's the nighttime. It's still the night of the 14th. It's still Pesach time. That's still considered Pesach time, and therefore it's not the wrong time. It's in the zone. Good. Yeah. Very good. You're in the zone. Yeah. So okay. The Tani de Rabbi Shmuel. Okay. So now you have offerings. You have to wait 7 days to bring an offering. Let me write on the 8th day. So some say that's why I bris milos on the 8th day also. So the offerings, you have to wait till the 8th day. So now what's the 8th day mean? The 7th, you have to wait 7 days. So you have day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. Now, once sunsets hit, that night you could designate the offering, or you have to wait till the next day. So the Tani de Rabbi Shmuel, Leil Shmini Nichnas Ledir Lehis Aser, Rabbi Aptoriki. So the 8th night, meaning after 7 complete days, that next night you can bring the animal in to be tied. That's the 10th animal. It can be designated, and that follows the opinion of Rabbi Aptoriki. The Rabbi Aptoriki, Rami Ksiv, he says I have a contradiction in verses. It has to be 7 days under its mother, but the next night, just 7 days. The next night, it's totally fine. Another verse says, from the 8th day and onwards, it'll be appeased. You can use it to fulfill your obligation. Which one is it? From the 8th day and onwards, or from the 7th day and onwards? That night. What about that night? So says the Gemara, halayla lo chazi. If it's from the 8th day, the nighttime is not fitting. So what do you do? Ha ketzad. What's the answer? Laila ligdusha, v'yom lahartza. The nighttime you could sanctify it, and the daytime you could bring it up as a sacrifice. Okay. Amar Rabbi Zera Rabbi Abo, Lema Kasavar Rabbi Yochanan. So Rabbi Zera said to Rabbi Abo, that Lema, is it true then of what Rabbi Yochanan said, that according to Ben Beseira, an animal slaughtered on the 14th, for any reason, is going to be invalid? According to Rabbi Yochanan, Kesav Rabbi Yochanan, Bale Chayim Nidachim, that animals that even are still alive, they can be pushed away. Meaning there's a debate in Yuma, when you say an animal is pushed off, does it mean once it's dead, once it's slaughtered and it's dead, and you did it at the wrong time, then it'll be pushed away forever? Or even animals that are alive, that are sanctified at the wrong time, are also going to be pushed away. That's called Balei Chayim Nidachim. Live animals can be pushed away. Sometimes we're going to see animals could be pushed away when they're unfit for sacrificing. They're called pushed away. And the question is, once it's pushed away, can it ever get back? Or once you're pushed away forever. So Amar Le'en, that's what Rabbi Yochanan holds. Yeah. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Behema. So what do you have? You have an animal between two owners, two partners. You have two business partners or two partners that they bought an animal. Each one owns part of the animal. So Behema shall shnei shutrim. Now what happened? Hikdish chatzil. One guy sanctified his half of the animal. Now at that point right now, you can't bring it as a sacrifice. So that sanctity does not allow you to bring it. So it's in a state right now of being pushed away because you sanctified it, but it can't be brought. So now what happened? Then he went and he bought the other half of the animal from his partner, and then he sanctified it. So now it's fully sanctified. It could be brought, but at one point it was sanctified and could not be brought. So so now you cannot bring it. But if you do Tamura, it'll work because Tamura cannot be done with partners. So now that you own the whole thing, you could put the sanctity on another animal, even though you shouldn't do that. But if you do it, it'll work. The Oset Tamura, the Tamura will work. It'll be similar to it. What is that? Tamura is exchanging, switching. So you take an animal that's holy, you say the sanctity of this is going to be on this. The Torah says you shouldn't do that. That's not allowed. But if you do it, it works. So we'll see the whole tractate about it, God willing. But what do you see from here? That the animal is alive and kicking, and yet, since you sanctified part of it, and at that time it was not able to be brought as a sacrifice, it's called nidche, it's pushed away. So Shma Mina Tla, we have three things that we learn from this statement of Rabbi Yochanan. Shma Mina Balei Chayim Nidachim. First of all, live animals, when they're sanctified and they cannot be brought, are considered pushed away. And therefore, even later on, when they could be brought, too bad, you can't bring it. Now, the pushed away, there's a debate. Is pushed away only when it was fit and no longer fit? It's pushed away? Or even from the get-go, from its original sanctity, it wasn't fit? You see from here, according to Rabbi Yochanan, since its original sanctity, when you sanctified half the animal, was not able to be brought, even if you sanctified and right now it's in its state of pushed away, that's considered pushed away. Next page, yesh dichui b'damin. We know an animal has two kinds of sanctity. Called kedushas damim. It's the lower level of sanctity. It's just the monetary value of the animal that's holy, and you have kedushas haguf. You have the animal itself is actual. It itself is actually holy. When you sanctified half the animal, so because the kedusha, the holiness, cannot spread to the whole animal, it does not attain a sanctity of kedushas haguf. It's not a sanctity which is the sanctity of the animal. It's only the monetary sanctity. When you sanctify something, but it cannot spread to the whole animal, then you only owe the value of the animal to the temple. You don't actually owe the animal itself. That's the lower level of sanctity. Three things you learn from Rabbi Yochanan. Amar Ula, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. More examples about being pushed away. Achal chela. A person, God forbid, ate chela, forbidden fat. Behifrish korban. And then he sanctified an animal to be brought to atone for his sin. Behemir das. And then who knows what happened? His Rebbe wasn't nice to him, whatever it was. And that's it. He went off. He threw away the whole Judaism. And he's done. So now what happened? At that state that he threw off, he became an apostate. He's not able to bring a sacrifice. So at one point he was good. He could have brought it. Then he became an apostate. At that point, you can't bring it. However, Yom Kippur came. He did tshuva. No, it doesn't say that. But the Chazarbo, he did tshuva. So now what happens? Once you were pushed away once, so now you're pushed away forever. Meaning, the sacrifice that was at one point fitting to be brought, then no longer fitting to be brought, even though now the guy did tshuva, he came back, he is he can no longer bring that animal. What is that?
Expensive business.
Yeah. So that's whole of nitche yidacha. Itmar nami, a similar statement. Amar Rabbi Yomi, Amar Rabbi Baba, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Achal chayla, the person eats chayla, the hifrish korban, and he ate forbidden fats, and he designated a sacrifice. He sanctified this animal we brought for my korban chatas. And then what happened? B'nishtata, he became deranged. And now b'chazar b'nishtata, but then he got better. What do you see over there? There we say, hovel b'nitche yidacha, same thing. At the stage of derangement, he was not able to bring a sacrifice. So therefore, even now that he's better, he still can't bring it. Says the Gemara, why did I have both of these examples? V'tzrichi, I need both. The iash minun kemaisa mishum dehu dachi nafshe biyadayim abal hachad memela itchi ki yashin dami. What do you say when someone sanctifies an animal and then goes to sleep? Oh, when he's sleeping, he can't bring an animal. Do you say it's always pushed away? No. Right? That we don't say. So says the Gemara, I needed to teach this case. Why? Because the first case is he went off on his own. He became an apostate. But maybe you would have thought that when the person just got deranged, that's like him, so to speak, sleeping. He didn't do it on his own. It just happened to him. It just happened to you. That's not going to invalidate the offering, which we say it still does. Maybe if you teach the case of the deranged person, it's not up to him that he's going to get better. Hashem will heal him when Hashem heals him. So therefore, it's farther out of his reach. Aval hacha, by the apostate, the yesh biyadol, he could come back. He threw off his Judaism, but he could come back. Tshuva time, right? A person could come back. Aim alone. You would have thought, since it's in his ability to come back, that doesn't create a invalidation on his sacrifice. Therefore, I need both cases. I need both teachings to teach you that that in both of these situations, whether you're an apostate or a guy became deranged, now that he became a Baal Tshuva, he repented, or he became healed, that sacrifice is still going to be invalid based off the principle whole benitche. Once it got pushed away, yidacha, it is pushed away forever. They point out though that repentance is different. Just because a person is pushed away, he pushes himself away and does averus, the sins. No, we don't say this. We don't say, and therefore he's pushed away forever. We say no, it's always in his hand to come back. Special halacha about the sacrifices. So, Rabbi Yirmiyah had a following question. He ate forbidden fat. The hifrish korban, and he designated an offering to be brought. The horu bezdin shechelav mutter, and now the court, back to Horios, the court ruled that the chelev is permitted. So now it happens. The chazur behen, then the court retracted. Yeah, this is yeah. So Mahu, what's the din? So at one point he was able to be brought. Then the chelev was mutter. Oh, you did nothing wrong. No need for a sacrifice. Oh no, they retracted. Back to a need for a sacrifice. So what happens over there? So mi have dichli alo, is that considered dichli or not? Alo have dichli. Amar leha hu saba, the elder said. Some say that whenever it says the elder in Shas, it's referring to Eliyahu Navi. Some say, not everyone. Some say. So Amar leha hu saba, either the elder or Eliyahu Navi. So does Rabbi Yirmiyah? Oh, okay, good. So Amar leha hu saba, ki pasach Rabbi Yochanan b'dichuyin meha pasach. You want to know when Rabbi Yochanan gave his first class on animals that are pushed away? You know what example he gave? This example. This is the example he started off the class with of animals that are pushed away. So yes, the answer is yes, it is pushed away. My timer. Hasam gavra itchi, but korban lo itchi. Hacha korban nami itchi. The cases earlier was on a person became an apostate, a person became deranged. That's all on the person. And therefore, we push away his sacrifice. But here, it's a much better case. That's why you start off with this. The sacrifice itself is pushed away, meaning they allowed chelev. The court ruled that chelev is allowed. So the sacrifice, not the person, the sacrifice itself was not necessary anymore. So that's a much better case to start off with, because the sacrifice itself was unnecessary, as opposed to a person being unfit to bring the sacrifice. Here, the sacrifice itself, there was no necessity to bring it. So that's why he would start off his opening day class about sacrifices that are pushed away. He would use this example. Okay, so Amar Shimon ben Azza, we had earlier Mikublani Mipi Shivim V'Shnayim Zakein. So we had two problems with this statement. One is that the Sanhedrin is only 70 or 71. It's not 72. That the Gemara is not going to talk about. That might be a footnote. but it says zaken in the singular. So the question is, why is it zaken in the singular? So says the Gemara, the reason is because they all agree on the same thing. When you have everyone agree in one way, so then there you can use the singular word zaken. You have this in Chumash numerous times. It's like that the Jewish people are called shivim nefesh. 70 souls went down to Egypt. And only nefesh is one. It should be nefashos. Why? Because we're all one. And it says, yeah. So when you're all in the same agreement, so that's one statement. Okay. A few more minutes. So lo hosef ben azai ela ha'ola. Ben azai added an ola, and also if you have the wrong intentions, it's going to be invalid. Amr Huna, my time the Ben Azai. What is the reasoning of Ben Azai? So says the Gemara, Olahu Ishay Reich Nikol Hashemhi Lishmak Shera Shalo Lishmak Psula. So right now, Rabbi Huna understands Ben Azai that Ola says has to be for Hashem. Right intentions, it's good. Wrong intentions, it's bad. Says the Gemara, what about an Asham? But a guilt offering, Nami Sibe who? It says who. So by just like an Ola says who, it has to be brought it for the right intentions, and if not, it's bad, it's invalid. In Asham, the guilt offering also says who. This already had many times. It says who by the Asham. Where does it say who? Only after the extra limbs were brought, only after its limbs were brought onto the temple, but not by the 4 primary services. So who says the Gemara, but by an Ola, same thing. By an Ola, it says who also after the limbs were brought up, not by the primary services. Says the Gemara, no, but it said Trey Huksivi. By Ola, it says who twice. It says the Gemara, Gabi Asham, the same thing. Gabi Asham Nami, Trey Huksivi. It says who twice. Oh, so rejected. New understanding of why Ben Azai said that an Ola has to be brought with the right intentions, and if it's brought with the wrong intentions, it's going to be invalid. The reason is because of a Kal V'chomer. The Kal V'chomer, what the Kal V'chomer Maisila? What is the Kal V'chomer? Uma chatas she'eno Kollel, a chatas which is not fully consumed on the temple, it's not fully burnt up, and yet shachta shlosh psula. If you slaughter it for the wrong intention, it's going to be invalid. Ola shehi Kollel lo kol shekain. In Ola that's totally subsumed, it's totally consumed on the temple, for sure has that stringency to it. It should have the other stringency as well. That if you have the wrong intention, it's going to be invalid. Says the Gemara, that's not going to call the chomer. Why? Malachatas shekain mechaperes. Chatas is more stringent. It actually atones. In Ola, we pointed out, it's just a present to the temple. So we say, no, Pesach Yochiach. But Pesach, which does not atone, and yet if you have the wrong intention, it's going to be invalid. Says the Gemara, no, Pesach, you can't bring that either. Now the Pesach, Zvano Kavua. Pesach is very strict, the Paschal offering. It has a set time. You have to bring it at a set time. So to that, we say, Chatas Tochiach. The sin offering will prove to you that set time does not equal wrong intention being invalid, because whenever you sin, you have to bring it, and yet the wrong intention is going to invalidate it. Says the Gemara, you're right. But from both the Chatas and the Pesach, we can learn it. The Chazar, the they're both not similar, but they have a similarity. What is the similarity? They're both holy sacrifices. They shaftan shalishman puzzle, and if you slaughter it for the wrong intentions, it's going to be invalid. So too, if I bring an Ola